Hey everyone, today I'm going to walk you through the research report generator agent. When teams need to analyze a new market, the manual research process is exhausting. You first search, scan, then copy paste the right bits and pieces, synthesize all of this information, format it into a presentable report, and then you're done. It takes an awful lot of time. But to solve this, I've created an agent, which is an end-to-end workflow that transforms raw web content into a professional multi-section report. So here is how it works. It starts on demand. There's a user input where you can provide the research topic dynamically during runtime. Then the user context block here will ask you a couple of questions to get more information about your research topic. And then with the research topic and some more contextual data, it will trigger the generate text block, which is actually responsible for generating a couple of search queries. Now, these search queries would help us run through the rest of the workflows. But before that, just to give you a quick view, this is one of the more complex agents. It has three subflows. So let's talk about the first one. Once this generate query creates a couple of search queries, it will send each query one by one into the sub workflow here. The first sub workflow we're calling is the research flow. In the research flow, we get the query one by one from the main flow. For each query, we perform a Google search, and then the Google search is going to give back a set of search results. And those results are passed one by one down into the second subflow block. So it's a workflow within a workflow within a workflow. Now, this is the scrape workflow. For every search result that we get from the search Google block, we call this particular flow that is responsible for accessing the link that's returned in the search result. It scrapes all the website content and then it ends the flow. Now, at this point, this workflow has taken a couple of queries, searched Google by pasting all of those queries in. For each query, we got, say, a couple of results. So you can actually specify how many results you want to get back. So in this case, I get 7 results. There's no date range, and I can also specify where do I want to search this, the region, the language, etc. The output of this particular run workflow block is a set of research material that it can actually use to generate the report. And that's exactly what this generate text block here is doing. It takes the research topic, the topic details, and the research materials that we got by researching Google and scraping each search result. What it does is it has a prompt which instructs it to compile a research. It also has some information about what styling is expected, what formatting rules have to be followed, and what the output should look like. For example, I've capped it to a 5,000 word report. Once the report is generated, I'm going to invoke another sub workflow, which is the image generation workflow. Now, this workflow is responsible for generating an image for every section um, of this report here. So if I go to the image gen workflow, it's going to take the first section, generate an image prompt based on the section content, and then use that prompt to generate an image using this generate image block. And then this workflow will be run for all the sections that are there in my parent report. Once all the sections have images, I'm using this generate text block to clean, combine, and format the report. So essentially, we got only the report here, we got a set of images, and this block here is going to combine the report and the images, and it makes sure that every section has been mapped to the correct image. And once this is done, it generates the JSON. I have specified the sample output for this JSON here. As you can see, the title, subtitle, report, sections, and then also what happens in each section, and it's an array. I have also asked it to provide sources at the bottom so that I know it's grounded in real research and not hallucinating. And then this goes into the generate asset block, which is helpful to quickly generate HTML assets. So as you can see, there is the HTML styling here that helps me control how the report will be shaped. And then there is some test data that helps me visualize how the report would look like based on the changes that I do over in the left panel. And that's the end of the flow. So let's just quickly look at how this works in action. So here it is asking me for my research topic. Let's do lab diagnostic providers in Canada. Now it is going to ask me a couple of questions to know more about the research topic and how I want to shape my research. So in this case, which aspect? So let's do market analysis. Okay, do I want specific provinces? Let's keep it to a national overview. In this, let's do clinical testing. What is the purpose? Let's say market landscaping. What time frame am I looking for? Let's do future projections. And once it has enough information, here it is going off and running all of those workflows. It is searching Google, then each Google search is actually um, sending the search query, getting a couple of search results. Then the search result is being passed on to another workflow, which is going to scrape each link. And here it's happening. Based on that, it will start generating the report. So here's the report generation. Let's give it a couple of minutes. Okay, so the agent has completed running. Here's the result: Canada's clinical diagnostics market, a comprehensive analysis, looking at the current market, focusing on patient perspectives, and has a future outlook. So as you can see, it's following the same format as per my HTML template. Every section has an image, and then every section has subsections with the key insights. It's clean, formatted, presentable, and then at the end, it has listed all the sources it referred and built this report. So this is actually a great agent. It can help transform your research from a manual slog into an automated intelligence pipeline. And it's very ideal for consultants and product managers creating industry briefs, or strategy teams tracking market trends, or analysts doing literature reviews, where for professional or academic reasons. And it showcases how AI can automate not just tasks, but an entire knowledge workflow. Thank you for watching.